Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. Will Max Muncy be ready for the start of the 2022 season? We got an update from Muncy himself coming up in just a second, but quick reminder for all latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. And as always, done with your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. On a scale of 1 to 10, how worried should the Dodgers be about Max Muncy in 2022? Should they expect him to have the same level of production? Should they try to add a Freddie Freeman or sign a Matt Olson? Let me know down below. And for all latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So Max Muncy, the Dodgers' most prolific slugger over the last 4 seasons. The last game of the season, he goes down. He suffers a torn UCL. It was like my favorite video game growing up, Max Payne. He was in some maximum pain right there. And we've got an update from Max Muncy coming up in just a second. But first, let's take a look at that gruesome injury. Little infield nubber, and Will Smith's throw goes inside the line. And Jace Peterson's also inside the line. He collides with Muncy's elbow, and Max Muncy was in some maximum pain. So yeah, that series was Squid Game status. You had Kershaw going down on Friday, Max Muncy going down during the last game of the season, and that was kind of the beginning of the end for the Dodgers when it came to the injuries. Now, where does Max Muncy stand right now? What is his status heading into the 2022 season? Well, he appeared on the Bleed Lows podcast, a fantastic Dodger podcast. I highly recommend it, and they asked him about the injury and how he's recovering, and here's what Muncy had to say.
It's getting better. We're getting there. It's a slow process, but everything's moving as it should. And we're actually going to start swinging the bat here pretty soon. So that's the things are looking really good, and things are looking good for the season. Whenever that may end up being, but it was a really unfortunate injury, and it sucked. And it's just one of those things that it happens. It's part of the sport, can't complain about it too much.
So that's very encouraging to hear from Max Muncy. Him saying that things are looking good. Things are looking really good for the start of the 2022 season because there has been a lot of uncertainty. With such a serious injury, you expect him to maybe not be the same player to start the season. That's why we've heard some rumors, of course, about Freddie Freeman, potentially Matt Olson. Would he maybe shift over to second base and allow those guys take over first base if the Dodgers were able to acquire them? Well, look, if Max Muncy is fully healthy, he is a guy that has improved so much defensively. He's a guy that is one of the best sluggers in the league, has been the Dodgers' best slugger since 2018. You wonder, do they really need to make a move for Freddie Freeman or potentially Matt Olson? I think it's about adding another left-handed bat, so I think I would still welcome the move, but it would make you feel better if they are unable to get a Freeman or Olson, knowing you already have an all-star first baseman that can bring the thunder from the left side of the plate. But we'll kind of have to see how he progresses early on in spring training, early in the year. Will he suffer a setback like Cody Bellinger had last season? That would be the worst case scenario. Or does he pick up where he left off during the first half of last season? Because remember, Max Muncy did kind of struggle in the second half of the season at times, but he would also talk to them about how painful that injury was. Here's the funky Muncy talking about just how painful that injury was, and despite how bad the injury was, it turned out to be the best worst case scenario.
No, as soon as it happened, I knew it was pretty much worst case scenario for me. That's the most pain I've ever been in my life, without a doubt. As soon as he hit my elbow and I rolled on the ground, I felt it pop out. And when I was on the ground, I ended up rolling my whole body on top of it, which most people are probably going to say that was a dumb idea. That actually made it feel better, and it popped it back into place. But when they came out there, they were asking me if I was all right. I said, get me off this field so I can go pass out in pain. It's just one of those things where I knew right away. And, we went and got the MRI that day, and we got the results back. So we knew immediately. And it was worst case scenario, but because of how things happened, it ended up being the best of worst case scenario. So, it was my left arm. We tore the UCL, we tore a couple other ligaments, shredded the muscles, and dislocated the elbow. It was basically a total blowout almost, but because it was my left arm, I didn't need surgery. Because of how the ligament was laying on the arm, it didn't need to be surgically reattached. It would heal on its own and kind of scar over. and because it's my back arm swinging, is another reason why we didn't have to have surgery. So, like I said, it was worst case scenario, but it was kind of the best of worst case scenario for me. Missing the playoffs sucked, but we should be ready for this year, and we'll see how things go once we start getting really into baseball here.
Man, I'm just grabbing my arm listening to that, man. That sounded painful. Man, maybe we can get him some arms like Jax from Mortal Kombat, not even have to worry about it. No, but hopefully Max Muncy can return to the diamond like his old self and put this behind him. But I am confident that Max Muncy will do what it takes to get back to the player that he was, because he is a resilient guy. Remember, he was an afterthought with the Oakland A's. He gets released. He's given a chance with the Dodgers, and now he's firmly established himself as one of the best first baseman in all of Major League Baseball. How good was he last year? Well, I bring my facts to the fight, so let's take a deep dive into Max Muncy's 2021 season. Last year, Max Muncy, he slashed 249, 368, 527, so that batting average was up from 192 in 2020 up to 249, and he led the Dodgers in tons of different statistical categories. He was their best, most productive player from wire to wire. He led the team with 36 home runs, 94 RBIs. He had the highest WRC plus at 140, the most WAR at 4.9. He led LA with 83 walks, 262 total bases. Now, the big improvement for Max Muncy last season was lowering that strikeout rate. That strikeout rate was at 24.2% in 2020, and he drops that down to 20.3% in 2021. That was his lowest strikeout rate that he's posted with the Dodgers, because that number has been high. In 2018, he had a 27.2 strikeout rate. In 2019, a 25.3 strikeout rate, and then to lower all the way down to 20.3. So that's definitely a marked improvement, especially for the type of slugger that he is. The Funky Muncy also led the Dodgers with a 379 WOBA, a 406 expected WOBA, a 278 isolated power. But when it comes to evaluating Max Muncy's 2021 season, it comes down to the first 4 months of the season versus the last 2 months of the season, because he was on his way to having a truly elite season. We were talking about Max Muncy as a potential MVP candidate through the first 4 months of the season. So from April to the end of July, he was slashing 279, 413, 557, hit 22 bombs, had a 160 WRC plus, and you look at that walk rate, 17.1%, and that K percentage, 17.6%. Now, from August 1st to the end of the season, he slashed 203, 290, 479, hit 14 dingers, had a 105 WRC plus, but look at that walk rate. It dropped from 17.1% down to 8.8%, and look at that strikeout rate. It jumped from 17.6% to 24.9%. So the home runs were still there for Muncy, averaging a home run for every 13.71 at-bats compared to a home run for every 13.86 at-bats for the first 4 months, but you saw he didn't have that same plate discipline. He wasn't taking his walks. You saw him chasing pitches outside of the zone, so he definitely faded a little bit down the stretch, but still was above average. He still finished 10th in the NL MVP voting, and also he made big improvements defensively. He was in the top 3 for the NL Gold Glove Award at first base. Muncy logged 901 innings through 101 games at first base. He finished the season with 6 defensive runs saved, 7 outs above average, and it was really impressive to see the growth that he had at first base this season. So all in all, a really, really nice season for Max Muncy. But let me know down below in the comment section, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about Max Muncy in 2022? Can he be the same player? Can the Dodgers depend on him? Or do you think they need to go out and make a big move? Sign a Freeman, trade for a Matt Olson. Let me know down below in the comment section. My name is D-Mac. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. Really helps out the channel. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.